Commissioner, I'm impressed. I'm saying it out loud. I've said it to the council. Thus far, I'm impressed. I just want you to know that. I want to thank Commissioner Morton for coming out as well. Mr. Jones, thank you for coming out and being the people's advocate towards policing. I appreciate every time you come. I appreciate you coming last night to the meeting. It's always a pleasure. What we've already received in the clerk's office is eye-opening. And I need to continue having that. We need to know, and we don't know. There's no other way to know. So I'm glad we're moving forward on that. Speaking of policing, Officer Moore, I tell you all the time, when you were on the force, you were such a role model to young men. Just seeing you, you're a role model. I'm hoping we can resolve your issue and your issue with the other officers as well. You were a great service to the city of Mount Vernon, and I greatly thank you. And I've told you that many times, and I mean it. Mrs. Bellman and the tree hugger row, I see you guys there. You guys did great work with the tree ordinance. I know you guys are tired, and I will again apologize. We have a new administration, we have a new council. It's not the right time to dig into a tree ordinance. We want to make sure we read it through. I actually don't think we presented it to the two council members that are here. So when the spring comes, I guarantee you, this is one of my initiatives to get that tree ordinance passed. I really thank you all for coming out time after time and staying so late. I really appreciate it. Our trees are one of our assets. Our trees are our assets. So we're going to get it done. I promised you before, and I promise it again. We're going to get it done. Thank you. Mrs. Gilmore, thank you for coming out as well. I haven't had the time that I've had. Normally, I like to go to see some of the properties, and I'm a landlord myself, and I try to keep my properties as good as I can. So it really gets me upset when landlords aren't doing what they need to do. I know tenants often want more than they really should get with their regular rent, but definitely there's a minimum amount of services that landlords need to provide. And if I do have the opportunity, unfortunately I don't have as much time as I did last year, but if I do get the opportunity, I'm going to come down and see what's going on, or I can concur with, I'll work with Councilman Wallace, since he's a builder as well, to go over what's going on. We don't want that in Mount Vernon. Oh, Mr. Bell, is Mr. Bell still here? Mr. Bell, for home. Commissioner Kelly, let's find a way to communicate to Mr. Bell. I don't know, policing is not my field, but it seems like we had an issue there. If we could communicate to Mr. Bell, if we could find a way, I know the council would appreciate it. Is Mr. Bell still here? Left? Okay. I know Mr. Johnson was here, and he talked about what's going on in Detroit with the water. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, Mount Vernon has one of the best water systems in the world. There's no doubt about it. We have great water. We don't have to find other ways to get water. We're not piping in the Hudson water. We have great water. New York City, we type into New York City's water. So I know people like to read what's going on someplace else and try to bring it home. That's one thing we do not need to bring home. People will die for our water system that we have. New York City was created because of the great water that we have. So I just don't want people thinking that we are anywhere near the problem like they're having in Detroit when it comes to water. I'm a big fan of our water. I don't use a filter for my water either. I used a filter, and it lasted so long, I couldn't understand why it was lasting so long. That's because our water is so good, you really don't need a filter. We have excellent water, ladies and gentlemen. You're wasting your money buying filters and drinking bottled water. Save your money. As far as the School of Music, I was very proud to have the School of Music come to the Real Estate Committee and put a real presentation together. Is the School of Music still here? Folks from the School of Music? Right. Well, they put a presentation together that was impressive. And that's what we look for in the Real Estate Committee when we have an opportunity to give a piece of property to people in the community that can help the community. So I'm going to let you know there were 2 churches that put together horrible proposals for that property. They seemed to think that it was the best thing ever. It was not. So when the School of Music came forward and they had their funding, and they were able to tell what they were going to do, and they had a plan, and they went and saw the building, and they really put a presentation together, I was impressed. So we moved it on the Real Estate Committee. They are paying for it. It's not going to be free. They have a person that can really do the work to get it done. I'm sure, ladies and gentlemen, you will be pleased with the School of Music once they are finished with the renovation. So that's over on high. So the Real Estate Committee passed it. The council passed it. It's held up in the mayor's office right now. opportunity to listen to the proposal, he too will be impressed at the end of the day with what they're doing in the School of Music. So I'd like to go right into our business owners in Mount Vernon. People seem to not really understand that Mount Vernon does have a strong business community. So when I hear Mr. Khan coming or Mrs. Gabay coming to the council, I really appreciate the work that you guys are doing to rebuild Mount Vernon. And it's not the big businesses. We don't have Microsoft or big businesses here. It's the small businesses that have always made Mount Vernon. So Mr. Khan, your investment is, I see what you're doing in your building. That's my sneak way of getting to City Hall. I see you putting a lot of money into that building that has sat vacant for a very long time. So I'm going to lead right in, and Mrs. Gabay, you as well, investing in your property. I know that's your livelihood. So to have it closed for even a short period of time, we're good things. We had a business in Fleetwood, but when we had filming, we interrupted his business because we had the filming in the morning, and that's his livelihood. Every sale matters. So we have to really look out for our businesses, and we can't just take them for granted. Every day counts. So I wanted to say that, and to go right into the soup kitchen, I really don't think you're going to be impacted by the soup kitchen being across the street. Now, the word soup kitchen scares people, but let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this is not run like a soup kitchen. And the people that are there aren't really the people that you would think are going into a soup kitchen. This is really run like a restaurant. So I think if you would go down and visit the soup kitchen at Sacred Heart Church right now, you would be impressed. I go to First United Methodist Church, and there was a town that there was a warming center that was brought in across the street, and the neighborhood erupted in there being a warming center. Now, as a member of our church, we couldn't really oppose a warming center because that's the mission of the church, to reach out to the community, to reach out to people. And I'm telling you, you guys would be surprised at how many people needed a warming center. These aren't, people with dirty coats and smelling. These are people who drive cars and just simply didn't have a place to sleep. They needed some place to go. It's not the look and feel that you think is going to have. These are people of all walks of life. So I'm telling you, the way that this soup kitchen is run, I guarantee you, you'll be impressed with how it's run. You'll be impressed with the people that are coming. I don't believe for a minute that it's going to bring down your property values at all. We're going to, and I think it's going to add to the value of the armory. It's the right thing to do. If they didn't need to leave Sacred Heart Church, it would be right there, but unfortunately, they've been evicted. So we need to find a place for them. And at this stage, the armory is the best place that we could find. So the council approved that. I think it's the right thing to do, and I encourage you to visit that soup kitchen and see how it's run, and I guarantee you'll be impressed. You'll be impressed. I'd like to also say that the council is working with the mayor. I had the pleasure of hanging out with the mayor over the weekend. We took 2 trips to Brooklyn because we went to visit a dignitary from Barbados, and it was a pleasure. We had a good time, and we're continuing to talk to improve things in the city. I don't want anybody to believe that the mayor and the council are not working together. We're working together and we're working smart. Do we have disagreements? Absolutely. We're going to work through those disagreements. We're going to move this city forward to make it the great city that it already is. We're just going to make it better. So when you see things like the Mount Vernon West redevelopment, I'm asking you guys to get involved because that is a serious issue. We want to redevelop that area for the betterment of all of Mount Vernon. It's going to take time, and we want your input. So don't think that we're trying to sneak anything in and it's not already approved. We are very concerned on this council that we could mess Mount Vernon up. And that's why we need your input to help us make it right. Every comment that you guys bring to us, we're going to take into consideration. I even told the new council members it's good that they weren't a part of this whole process along the way because you kind of get, adapted to what has already been sold to you. So having 2 new council members on giving new input is actually good for the process. And now it's your turn to respond to that as well. So we're looking for your comments. We want you to be involved. We want your intelligence. The tree group, we probably need trees in that area. So we want you guys to be involved in that as well. And our equipment, having a dull drill bit is no good. We want to have our equipment in line so it can do the best work as fast as possible so we can get stuff done. And with that, it's 11 o'clock, ladies and gentlemen. Believe it or not, we still have a legislative session that we have to do. We are literally, this time, going to take a 3-minute break. This is the time time that you can